Hello, welcome to this little and often training session with myself, Mark Cartwright. I'm a professional development specialist for Smart here in the UK and really want to support you learning more. So today we're going to look at really focus on this Smart and Google, how it works together, Google Drive, Google Classroom, Chromebooks either plugged in or directly from the board itself, and how can we really support that as well. So it's a 20-minute session. I'll try and keep it even less. And you can see from the kind of the feed kind of below that there's loads more content as well. So feel free to look those. Any comments, any questions? This was a live session, so the links to sign up live will be in the comments below, or feel free to just add a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So Google, I've plugged in a Chromebook and it works really well. So I can minimize this just so you can see here. There's my Chromebook. There's my Chromebook, but apart from this is just a big touchscreen version of that. So any apps that I open within here, anywhere I go within Chrome, I can access that content on that large board when I'm teaching. I can plug it in either just with a single USB-C, make sure it's the right one, so that it's got the touch, the sound, the picture, as well as actually having all in one place, and the power as well was the other one. In this case here, I've plugged it in with my two. I've got a USB lead is going to do my touch, and my HDMI, so I've got all that kind of coming out the side here into that Chromebook. And then here, I've got my Chromebook. Whatever I want to do, whatever I want to access, any of that content, I can directly from here, and obviously bringing that with me. I can access my Google Drive, open up any of these files, Google Classroom and that content there. I'm just going to actually exit that from that's left over from where we did it live and go back up to my main classrooms. I can go onto Lumio and access all that content here, wherever I want to, straight from in the Chromebook here. Great way to actually bring that content with you and just use it. If you're not bringing your Chromebook with you, actually in the smart boards itself, it's got a built-in Chrome browser, which is, because of the nature of Chrome, to be trying quick and easy rather than storing it locally, it's that same experience. So I can actually click my home button in the middle here. Your home button might be at the front here, and I'm now not using my Chromebook. I'm going straight actually into the board itself. And in the board itself, it's got an IQ unit. That's what Smart call it. It is essentially a Chromebook built into the board itself, so it powers the board, it powers the Smart board here. So I've got a browser. I can different apps and bits and pieces from in there. So I'm just going to go to that browser for now. And then I've got the same tabs open, just to kind of, oh, it's reloading it because I had it loaded there. I'm going to go to start with my Google Drive. And then this is now directly from the board, nothing to do with this here. In the board itself, I can go to that Chrome browser, access my Google Drive, and I've got access to any of that content. I can go to my Drive here, do anything there, open up my slides, PDFs, even a PowerPoint if you so desire. And then, of course, my Lumio lessons straight from the Google Drive. My Google Classroom, the same thing. I can access that. All that content is straight from within here. And of course, the advantage of going straight from the board itself is that I've got access to other content as well. I can go to my other apps on the board, either ones that are pre-installed on the board that you can use, or if you do want additional ones that are in the Play Store, which you might like to put on your Chromebook, you can deploy those, so it's making sure that we're complying with Google's terms and conditions and using smart remote management that comes with your boards anyway for that initial license. On there. So I'm just going to go back into my browser and let's have a look at these in a bit more detail. So, slides. I'm not going to tell you how to use slides. Open it up, use it. It's very much designed at that front of class delivery. How can I share that content with my learners? That's it. But actually, if I click and hold, which is a right click, I can go open with. And in this case, yes, I can open it in Google Slides, but actually now I can convert it straight away into that Lumio lesson. And now I'm teaching a Lumio lesson. I can really engage with my learners. I can connect them on their Chromebooks, iPads, devices, whatever it might be, in the classroom, out of the classroom, and really have that active learning, that two-way engagement with them on whatever course subject that I want to put in there. Course subject, anything that I would like to share with them on there. So that's that one. So actually, let's just jump in to actually have a look at Lumio itself here. So these are the lessons. This is all the content on here. And I'm just going to refresh the browser just because we did it and I did it live. And hence why there was just saying to reload that one there. So all of these lessons here are stored in my Google Drive. I can access through them here, or I can just go to that website, Lumio, and access them through there. So now they're loading. This is the one that we did live here. So the live lesson, we opened it up. Started in Google, open with Lumio. Now there's that lesson. You can see I've got a full screen, ready to teach from that content straight from the board. Then we had people join live, so that when I went next here, they went next to live as well. How do we get students connected? Click on the students at the side here, clicking on the people. Once I've clicked on the people, I've got my class code here, and it's here. So for the learners, on any device that they've got, they go to that website there, hellosmarts.com. Obviously, you can store it as a favorites, you can bookmark it, anything like that. hellosmart.com. Once they've gone there, there's two ways to sign in. We can join as a guest, quick and easy, get into that lesson, off you go. If you choose to sign in with your Google credentials or Microsoft, then that will actually means they can come and go out of that lesson, but it also is going to populate it with their name as well. So there's not any confusion about students giving the incorrect name or any of that content there. So now they've signed in either as a guest, quick, easy in, or the Google credentials as well. Type in that class code. That is now my class code. So any lessons that I launch straight from Google Drive or in Lumio, it's the same code. So students who just come and go out of the lessons from there as well. I can see how many students I've got connected. I press got it, and now we're in. So now what it means is that any annotations that I am making, and you can see the ones that I made here, any annotations that I'm making here are going to be on the student devices live for them to have as well. So they've got that, I've got a bit of engagement with them wherever they are on their device, in the classroom, out of the classroom. Again, it's still teacher paced, so as we go through it, they're joining that content as well. And we're going to get to a page where we're wanting that student engagement and having them involved with it. You can see here I've already converted 2 of these pages, and I'll come to show you that content in a moment. But in this one here, to actually convert it to a page, again through the people, that same tab. People, and how do I want my students to engage with this content? Whole class obviously puts everyone in the same group. They can all annotate together. I can toggle it on and off actually within the lesson. Group work, I'm explaining these terms here. They're quite simple. They're quite easy to get hold of, but actually it's great to just highlight these points here. If I want the students to work together in little groups around the classroom, in or out of it, then that can here. Or that individual basis, more of like a test paper, you're sending them something to do by themselves in that case there. So the one that we did live in this session here, this is just the group work. So it automatically put everyone that joined into teams, and then I can just jump back and I can rearrange those teams here. And then from there, I can just see that within these 2 teams here, who was in each team, and I can come back to that afterwards. So this is the group 1, and then in group 1, they pick up the pen and they did lots of different pieces. Yes, including adding text, adding images, whatever it was. But the really good thing about that group work is if I can click on these objects, I can see who has added those. I can see who actually used the type here, and it will just give their names next to it as well. Yes, not the most great content, but we can see that attribution to whatever content you do put in it, you've got there. And that was in team 1. I can use this arrow here just to go across into team 2, and you can see it was that same static content, but now because I've got it in 2 different groups, this group have put in their own whole new stuff completely. So this one here, you can see that these people, the attribution wise, added that content. And then this smiley face here was the one that I put on live as well. Again, all those bits and pieces are to there. So if you can join next time, join live, and then you can add some of your own content as well, and we'll get that up and running. So finally here, I'm just going to show it onto student pacing. Because it is now student pacing, I, as a teacher in this case, I can go back up to the objectives, I can go onto the extension, wherever it might be, and the learners have got their own lesson now. So if they want to go back into the group work, individual work, they want to go and see the extension is, go and maybe play a few games or whatever that content is, or move on to another assessment. All those bits and pieces, that they can do that because that's in student pacing through that toggle there. And again, I can toggle that backwards and forwards however many times I like in that live lesson with the learners there. So I'm now just going to end that lesson. In fact, I'm going to edit it. So I clicked on the 3 dots and clicked edit. What was just a converted Google Slides now becomes a Lumio lesson, and there's loads more content within there. I can add in some really, really rich content for the start for the students here. I can have my graphic organizers, that pre-made content, quickly add that into my lesson. Game-based activities, gamification, response, assessments, lots and lots of pieces down there. And your science and maths-based Desmos PhET simulations, as well as just adding in YouTube videos as well, advert-free. If I want to add in more pages, so I've got my lesson, but actually I wanted 2 or 3 pages of a PDF, 2 or 3 pages from a Google, another Google slide, I can add those bits and pieces in there. Or of course, search for the Lumio library for your content at the top. Loads of content to be able to add to that lesson. So I'm going to finish that lesson there and actually now come out of that and end that lesson. You can see here that, yes, I'm working with that Google environment, but being able to take that one Google slide and convert it to a Lumio lesson gives so much more empowerment to my learners, and how really supports that delivery for me as a teacher as well. If you have got a Lumio license or a smart software license, the Smart Learning Suite, or you've got the license that you use with Notebook, you'll have access to this Lumio as well. The website to get going is just Lumio, lum.io. Sign up and you'll be going there. Just sign in with your normal Google email address and you'll be good to go and using that one there. If you haven't got a license, then feel free to have that free trial of it anyway. There's no time restrictions on it. There's no content restrictions on it. Go and use it all. It will just, for your trial, it'll just give you an amount of storage, which is 50 megabytes, which is about 10 lessons. And then if you want unlimited storage on top of that, then that's where be in touch and we could support you with looking at a license for that as well. So just kind of now just continuing with that Google theme here, looking at my Google Classroom, to be able to actually send that out, I can add in my Classroom. I can create, just as the way you normally would send out content through your Google Classroom. But in this case here, I'm just going to attach to that content, in this case an assignment, I'm going to attach that lesson that we did here. And you can see these are all of the lessons that I've got now in my Google Drive, and I can attach that Lumio lesson rather than my PowerPoint or Google Slides. So they've got that content to be able to work on at home, support parental engagement, anything that you've got outside of the classroom, they can continue that. Or of course, you can use it in the classroom as well. And that's the advantage of Google Classroom, I suppose. So we've looked at Lumio, looked at Google Classroom. So at the moment, I'm doing this still away from my Chromebook. This is now directly still in that board, in that browser itself here. Of course, by doing it through a browser, I could have done it exactly the same way through my browser on my plugged-in Chromebook as well. Exactly the same content there. One advantage of doing it on the board itself is I can use the Files app down here. So now clicking on that Files app here, I have just chosen to look at my Lumio lessons. What it does, it takes all of my Lumio lessons that are stored in my Google Drive and go, poof, ready to teach, off we go. So these are the lessons here. That's the one that I've already done there. So I can go back in time and see whichever ones I want to as well. And it's going to bring those lessons in. So I can walk up to the board, click on this person here, sign in, and it's going to have those lessons pre-populated for me. So I can just click on it and start teaching from that as well. Really, really easy to get access to your content and quick and easy to get going, all in one place there as well. So finally, I'm just going to jump back into my inputs. I have got my input here. This is my Chromebook. I renamed it by clicking on that one there and clicked on the star there so it was saved as a favorite. And now jumping back into my Chromebook. It's my Chromebook. And it really does seamlessly work with that Google integration and with that smart software really working together to support the learner in whichever way you want to use your content from there as well. So like I said, this was done as a live lesson, live session, whatever one you want to call it. Thanks so much for watching this one here. If there are any other questions, please put them beneath. If you want to sign up and join live to the next one, again, I'll leave that link below there. And for the next session, we're going to look at updates as well. And if I scroll down to here, new features, new updates that are coming to smart software, and we'll touch on the hardware as well. So all those bits and pieces will be coming through and we can look at those in a bit more detail as well. So great to have you join, but for today, that's been all. Any other questions, like I said quite a few times, just let me know and we'll support you with that. Thanks very much, take care, and we'll see you soon.